to talk about nostalgia in this video and what it does to normal people. Now, if you're old, obviously you have nostalgia for things when you were younger. And if you're younger, you haven't lived long enough to have nostalgia for almost anything. And the older you are, the more negative effects nostalgia can have on just basic decision-making processes. Being able to think through, look at a situation, evaluate it logically. And I think this is where the Amico and the strange group of middle to old-aged men who've galvanized around it in small groups begin to become a little bit odd. Now, I'm not saying that you can't like what you like or you can't be excited for something. Life is hard enough. It's nice to find something that you can be excited about, that you can look forward to, but you have to be rational when it comes to things like consumer electronic products, things you're going to purchase. I've seen people create entire YouTube channels based around the Amico, a product that has not even come out yet. I've seen people starstruck by Tommy Tallarico, and I've seen hubris and the need to feel like you're somebody on social media, warp people's minds, and drive all of this hype and strange groups of people that galvanized again around this product into some weird place that now some of them are looking to sort of back out of. So there's been a ton of excuses as to why this system hasn't come out yet. There's been part shortages. We know now that's not true. Now we're hearing about operating systems that aren't complete, but they're 90% there. How that wasn't addressed before the part shortage excuse came up, I don't know. There's been a ton of back and forth, and there's been a ton of misinformation. I want to read you something from the official Intellivision Amico website. This was 2 years ago. This is Tommy Tallarico. Quote, "The Intellivision Amico is not as capitalized, seeking crowdfunding. We actually want to sell you the machine after you had a chance to play it and experience it for yourself. Imagine that. What a concept. I'm always a little weary of companies that need crowdfunding to start a video game console. It takes tens and tens of millions of dollars and strong investors and partners and an amazing, all capitalized again, team of seasoned professionals who have been down the hardware path many times. We have all capitalized again of those things in spades. Looking forward to sharing more info with everyone as it becomes available." So now we're at our third delay and a new round of crowdfunding. Yes, crowdfunding, that thing that would never happen, that he said never leads to a successful console. So as a rational person, not letting nostalgia drive my decision-making process, it would be reasonable to say that obviously there seems to be some issue surrounding this product. Now, there's nothing wrong with seeking out like-minded people, talking about people who are excited about the things you're excited about, but it becomes a dangerous situation when all of those people, driven by nostalgia, confirm their own bias with the people in their own group and continue to ignore any and all signs of actual issues, actually brushing them off, actually not speaking to people who bring up these issues and staying in that bubble right up until the end. It's like being in line and looking at the end of the line, the front of the line, and you see a table there and there's a guy sitting there handing out Kool-Aid. You're in that line. At what point do you say to yourself, it might be a good idea to get out of this line and start thinking for myself? Now, when I first saw this product, yes, I remember the Intellivision. I purchased an Intellivision when it first came out. It came out a long time ago. Some of the things I remember about the Intellivision are the controller. The controller was not the high point of the Intellivision. It was probably one of the worst controllers in that era when it comes to systems. So it is not a selling point for the system now. I also looked at the price point of this system. It started off being an incredibly cheap system, which made sense. Then the price began to rise and rise and rise, and now we're talking about something that's almost the same price as an Xbox Series S. You might say to yourself, yes, but it's offering different types of games than an Xbox Series S, and that's the point. If these games are basically mobile-esque games, you can play these games on your cell phone. There are cell phones now. I'm holding one in my hand right now, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, that is an extremely powerful device. The games on it look fantastic. Certainly, it can play these type of games with touch control and haptic feedback. So why in the world would the price point be close to an Xbox Series S? These are some of the things I began to look at, I began to question, and I began to wonder why these men, who've obviously lived long enough to be able to understand these issues, to think about them, and to raise them, weren't, or ignoring them. And again, we come back to the power of nostalgia. I'll give you a personal example. I've been a fan of Sega for a long time. When the Sega Master System came out, I was blown away. I loved it. I played so many games on that system. I couldn't wait for the next Sega system, and it was the Genesis. The Genesis was fantastic. I was in love. Sega could do no wrong. Then they started with the add-ons, and I bought them all. I made excuses for them. There were other systems coming out that didn't need add-ons, and I just purchased one after the other, and then the next system, and then systems literally came out 2 years after the previous system came out, and it was just starting to become strange to me. So by the time we got to the Dreamcast, I had enough knowledge, and I was able to look at the situation. I knew that the Dreamcast was going to fail. I knew it was the end of the road for Sega. You could see it if you weren't blinded by your love of Sega, if you weren't blinded by the past and the nostalgia that you had. I knew it. I saw it. So it's strange to me when something like the Amico is announced that people, grown men, just ignore all of these warning signs and group together in this cult-like mentality that makes no sense to me, and stay on any ride that they're on until it runs off the tracks. I don't understand it. Now look, this nostalgia thing isn't unique to Amico. We see it with PlayStation and Xbox. There are people who willfully deny themselves playing games on PlayStation because they're Xbox centric. Think about that for a second. You're a gamer. You love video games. You refuse to play God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima. These are games that you refuse to play simply because they have PlayStation in front of them. And the same thing could be said for some PlayStation fans who refuse to play games on Xbox. This is nostalgia, but not just nostalgia. It's a sickness that's born out of this groupthink mentality and this need to feel like you're somebody on social media, you're somebody in the gaming community. And this is why I think these people can't make rational decisions around products, and why I think they seek out people who make them feel important. At this stage of the game, are you still all hands on deck for the Amico? Does none of this bother you at all? Have you started to back away from some of this? Let me know in the comments section below. Think about sharing the video out. At the very least, hitting the like button. It would help me grow this channel, and I'll see you in the next video.